Root apex. Root apex grows by the activity of apical meristem of root. The roots grow in the soil. Therefore, their meristematic cells require proper protection from injury. Root cap provides this protection. The organization of the meristematic cells in the root apex has different pattern than the stern. Root does not produce nodes and internodes. There the activity of the root meristem remains uniform. There may be single root initial as in many lower vascular plants. Or there may be group of initials as in most of angiosperms and gymnosperms. The initials of root have no organized pattern. Therefore, stem-like organization is absent in root apex. The root apex is the very bottom point of this underground part. It's like the head of the root, where it grows and stretches out into the soil. This part of the root is super important because it's where the root can absorb water and nutrients to help the plant grow big and strong. So, in simple terms, the root apex is like the superhero head of the root, making sure the plant gets what it needs to thrive. Cells are grouped only on the basis of their position. Root initials divides to form protomeristem. The initial retain their position on root apex. They form a zone called quiescent zone. The cells immediately present behind the apical meristem are called protomeristem. Protomeristem cells are differentiated into following types of cells. Type of pattern. Close type root apex. In this case, the initials are predestined to form different structures in root. The initials are plerome, peribellum, calyptrogen and metacalyptrogen. Plerome give rise to central cylinder. Peribellum give rise to cortex and calyptrogen give rise to root cap. The metacalyptrogen give rise to epidermis. Growth. Growth can be defined as an irreversible increase in dry mass of living material. It actually reflects an increase in amount of protein which has been synthesized, therefore the process of protein synthesis forms the basis of growth. Cell division. An increase in cell number as a result of mitotic division and cell division. Cell elongation. An irreversible increase in cell size, length or volume, or both, as a result of uptake of water that results in cell wall growth or the synthesis of living material that brings growth in volume. Cell differentiation. The specialization of cells, i.e., process by which cells undergo biochemical and structural changes to perform specialized functions. However, each of these processes can occur at separate points in time. For example, increase in cell number without increase in volume occurs in cleavage of zygote, and similarly, increase in volume not accompanied with cell division also occur as in region of cell elongation in root and shoot tips of plants. Changes at the cell level bring about changes in overall form and structure, both of individual organs and of the organisms as whole. This process is known as morphogenesis. Morpho equals form, jor genesis equals origin, i.e., the development of form or shape of cells and organs. Growth zone is plant growth is restricted to certain specialized zones. These zones are called meristems and are composed of cells having thin walls, prominent nuclei, small vacuoles. Such cells are called meristematic cells. The meristems are permanent embryonic tissues and are responsible for primary and secondary growth. There are two types of meristems. Apical meristems. These occur at the tips of roots and shoots. Lateral meristems. These are present away from the apices among permanent tissues of the plant body. For example, vascular cambium present is cylinder of meristematic cells in woody stems and roots. Types of growth. Generally, two types of growth are recognized in plants. Primary growth, the growth that occurs at the tips of shoots and roots and in lateral appendages like leaves and buds is called primary growth. In most plants, primary growth is equivalent to growth in length. Secondary growth, the stems and roots of many plants also increase in diameter, and this is termed secondary growth. It occurs in regions that have stopped elongating. Similarly, growth may be determinate or indeterminate. Determinate growth. Some plant structures grow to a certain size and then stops growth and undergo senescence and death. This type of growth is called determinate growth. Indeterminate growth. The plant structures that grow by meristems and grow more or less indefinitely. For example, vegetative stem and root. This growth is called indeterminate growth.